Woohoo! Yes. Well, welcome. As we get close to the 30th episode of YMA Chat on StreamYard, with it going to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. We want to just thank you for taking the time to come in and listen. We see we've already got one person listening in from X, so thank you so much. Absolutely love the fact that StreamYard is like an instant advertiser. And today we're going to be talking about vision, mission, goals, taking action, and what does all of that look like, and what's one of the reasons, because there are many, many reasons to have a vision, to have a mission, to look at what our dreams are and create goals and take action on them. And I'm going to start off by saying right underneath me, you'll see there's my website, www.leshill.info. And one of the fun things, if you go to my website, that you can find and enjoy is when you open it up and you look and you'll see coaching as a menu item across the top. You can hit the coaching tab. It'll show you executive coaching, personal coaching, keynote speaking, disc assessment, and resources. If you click on resources, you open it up and it will go, whoa, look at these forms and resources that are all free. No catch. You don't have to give me your email. You don't have to pay $20 and get it back. Nope. You could just go to Business Integrity 101, click on that one, and what pops up is a 4-page PDF with lots of purple. For those of you that don't know, that's my favorite color. And it talks about creating your path. And as with anything and everything, one of the things that literally takes a dream, creates a goal, and then has you take actions to do that, is creating your path with vision, mission, and seeing, are you beginning to create your own possibility? And there are 8 steps that you can see in this PDF on creating your path. Dream and plan in the midst of each step to create possibility. What are your thoughts there, Mr. Yarwood?
So when I first started my business, I was asked, I don't remember who asked me, but what was my mission? And I was like, what do you mean? What is my mission? Do you have a mission statement? I'm like, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. My mission is to teach Taekwondo. You know, I didn't really get what it was for, what the meaning of it was. Right? So for the longest time, I never really had like a mission of something that was guiding me to what I was supposed to be doing, what I was trying to do with my business. So it probably wasn't till about 6 years into my business that I finally came up with a mission statement, at least what I thought was a mission statement. I just borrowed from what other people had written about their schools and just kind of modified it for me. So I really didn't have like a specific one for me. So it was kind of a challenge to figure out what the purpose of it was. Once I figured that out, once I realized it, it made more sense to me that, you know, the mission is kind of what you're trying to do with, whether it be your business or your life or whatever. It's just telling yourself and others that this is what your ultimate goal is for what it is that you're doing. So it took some time to really kind of figure that out and do some research into it before I really had an understanding of what it meant.
Yep. So I'm going to just go through a few of these steps. So the vision, why you want to create this, like why do you want to create a plan? What are you aspiring to? What impact will this plan have on your life? And in 3 years, so I do a 10, a 5, a 3, a 2, and a 1. In this one, though, in 3 years, what will it look like if what you're doing is working? So we're really, nailing down an opportunity here for you to be super responsible for how and what works. The mission is what you will do as taking action, and how will you achieve it? What could be used to evaluate current business activities so that you have a starting point, a starting block to move from. And then how do others think of you connected to the activity that you're creating? They think philanthropic? Do they think egotistical? What is it that comes to their mind when they see you doing X? Now, I can tell you when John and I were at the Dorothy Center in St. Paul, across the street from the Excel Energy Center, in 12-degree weather, serving with Massey's missions. We weren't looking for some kind of contribution saying, oh, attaboy, attaboy. It came from us doing a heartfelt thing, watching people get excited and appreciate what we were doing. That was the payment. So how do others think of you connected to the activity? What are your thoughts?
For me personally, you mean?
Yep. Yes.
I think over time, I've discovered what it is that I really wanted to do and what I wanted to be perceived as. At first, when I first started, I was doing Taekwondo. I was teaching Taekwondo, but I didn't really understand why. I love to do it personally. I had the passion for it. I wanted others to learn it, but I didn't go much deeper into the reasons why I was doing it and what I wanted to get out of it and wanted other people to get out of it. And as time came by and I started to realize the impact that I was having on my students and their parents and what I could do for them, not just on the mats, but outside of the dojo, my mission started to come into focus. Like it was more about my long-term impact that I could have versus my right now impact. And while the two are connected, the long-term impact became the vitality of my business, because I've been doing it. My business has been open for 11 years, but I've been teaching for 15. And the more I do it, the more I understand the important role I can play in kids' lives and in families' lives by just nurturing our students beyond the physical activity of what we do, right? Teaching them about life skills, about discipline, about respect, about all these things that they take into their regular lives, even if after they leave the dojo. So my mission came to focus that we're changing lives we say one black belt at a time. It's a mission that I've come to embrace and really kind of live versus just say, hey, this is what I do. People see it based on how I am, how I respond, how I react, how their kids respond to what I'm teaching them, my other instructors, all that stuff. So it's really become, it's breathed life into what our mission was and is.
That's really cool. So as we step into this, one of the steps is to look at why, what's your purpose, who or what is your avatar, like what are you doing? Who's the person in some respects, who's the person that you're holding in that position, that's who you want to be, and you're going to do whatever it takes in martial arts to get there. Same within business, right? Finding who is that example out there. What is the example? Like, what are your goals? Just like we've been looking at. Being responsible to, shut down when you know that you've reached a limit. Where and what is your dream home? And then when? I started off by saying 10-year, 5-year, 3-year, 1 year, but also 9 months, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, 2 week, and a week. And being responsible for creating the milestones from the future to the present, which is sometimes a little antithetical to how most people look at things. Standing in this place, your potential is limitless. And the person that sets the limits is you. Next thoughts, Mr. Yarwood?
Yeah, so that's kind of like it's important to see where it is that you want to go long term, to have that roadmap or whatever you want to call it in place so at least you have an idea of the path you're going to take. It's not a guarantee that's the exact way you're going to go, but if you look at it from day to day, you're never going to get anywhere because you don't know where you're going. You're just going, okay, today I'm going to go here. Today I'm going to go there. You don't have a path to your long-term goal, your long-term idea of what it is that you want to do, whether it be in business or whatever it is. So when you go, 10 years out, people go, that's a long way to look out. It's like, yeah, but if you don't look that far out, right, you're not going to know where you're even a pathway to go. You got all this stuff all around you. At least you have some kind of a focus to look towards when you're going. My buddies and I go up to the Boundary Waters, and when you're up in the Boundary Waters, there's no signs up there that tell you what lake you're on. There's nothing that tells you what direction you're going. There's nothing, right? We have maps that we follow, and in order for us to get from one place to another, we have to look on that map and set that map so we know where the heck we're heading. Otherwise, we're just going to be wandering around endlessly in the wilderness, not have any idea of where we are or how to get back to where we came from. So we sit down and go over our maps before the trip itself and just check everything out, make sure we have an idea of where we're going. And then having those maps, if we decide we want to change our route a little bit, we have those options. But if we didn't know in the first place where we were going, you get five miles out and you're lost forever. You don't have no idea where you're going. So it's important to at least have a general idea of your direction so you can keep headed that way. And you can, adjust as you go.
And part of this, right, for me, part of this whole thing is discovering who's going to be a great coach that I get along with. Who's somebody that has testimonials I can believe, has a personality that I can work with. The pricing is manageable. It's not affordable. It's not super expensive. How do I find that middle ground? Faith. Your coach has a foundation of faith, family, business, and positioning that you resonate with. Your coach is that person that's resonating and saying, hey, this is how you can level up. And secondly, respect. respectful, trustworthy, and honorable, you as a coach are willing so in looking at this and thinking about it, dreaming about it, looking at goals, putting it on paper, one of the things that you start to use is the integrity of your communication, the integrity of what's it going to look like, what do I see, what do I hear as I'm listening, what do I actually hear, jotting it down so that it becomes real and not living on the auspices of dreams. So some of the things in that communications integrity, asking yourself the questions, listening and hearing, what do you hear? Looking and seeing, what is it about your vision that gets you excited when you see it out there? Is it putting something up on a wall to represent something? Is it a P&L, profit and loss statement? What is it? Being present, knowing the situational environment you just jumped into. Speaking, oh my gosh, this one. Woo! Some people have acronyms, some people have voice, some people have what is it called? I have to come back to it. But some people are really good at speaking and speaking into existence something. Some people have beautiful control over their bodies and body language. Others are very good at listening and getting right into your world. And then lastly, mind and mindset. What are the things in vision, prayer, meditation, visualization, and lastly, manifestation? What are you drawing towards you?
Yeah, I think the visualization piece is huge. when you can see in your mind what it is that you want, you're teaching your brain about what it is, right? It starts to see it, it starts to believe it itself. And when it starts to believe it, then it starts to become physical because your brain believes it. It doesn't know the difference between fantasy and reality. When you start to think, we talk about like what you say, how you say things and what you say, your brain is listening to you. And whether it's positive or negative, the brain doesn't know the difference. It just knows what you say. It also knows what you see and what you put in there and what you visualize. And it takes those visions and wants to make them into reality because it doesn't know the difference. It can't comprehend one way or the other. So it's important that when you're speaking, when you're to yourself, when you're thinking about things, when you're visualizing things, that you're putting into your brain what it is that you truly want, because that's what's going to come to fruition, whether it be good or bad. Your brain just does it. So it's important that you fill it with what it is that you're looking for and what you want to be, who you want to be, and how you want to be.
And I think with that, once again, why, who, what, how, where, and when. Those key things, those key ingredients to have you develop processes and also sales tools.
I would venture to guess that most people not only don't know what a mission or don't have a mission statement, but don't know what one is. Right? They don't understand, because I didn't when I first started. I had no idea what it was, and I think people have vision without realizing they have vision. You know, they have an idea of things, but don't really realize that's what their vision, that's what their mission is going to be. And I think, like you said, writing it down is a huge part of making it a reality. Because if you're just thinking about it every so often and you don't put it into concrete terms, it's just going to be floating around out there, floating around in your brain. And you're not really there's no way to act on it because you're not really doing anything with it.
Yeah. And I think that action, to me, is one of the most powerful things, right? I wrote down earlier in a notebook, I said, and Zig Ziglar, this is his model, by the way. Take a dream, transform it to a goal. Take a goal, transform it to an action. Take an action, transform it into living life full out. Why? Because the alternative is miserable. All right. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Pretty much. I think the biggest missing part for most people is the action part. Doing something about it.
And I think one of the things that keeps people, they're afraid to fail. And what I tell my clients is, no, I want you to fail. I want you to go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Fail. Because you're going to learn that way. You're going to learn stuff that I can't teach you. I can't teach you. It's something that is inherent within you. People go, oh, Les, you know what Tony Robbins says about I can't? It means I must. Well, I tell you what, I have stuck people's head so far in the water that I thought they were going to drown.
Yeah, the only way you're going to know is if you do it, figure it out.
Yeah. Like
Thomas Edison said, he was asked one time about the light bulb, right? And asked him, he goes, he failed 10,000 times. He goes, how come he didn't quit after, failing 10,000 times? He goes, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways that it didn't work.
Yep.
Had nothing to do with failure. Sure, he technically failed, but he found a way that, okay, it doesn't work that way. Let's try this way. Doesn't work this way? Okay, let's try this way. It's the only way you're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Rarely does it happen that you succeed on the first try. And if you do, even then, you still are going to learn more about it as you go.
Wow. Yeah. So remember, dream, goal, action, mission, and vision. The big things. Let's see. I was just going to see if we could. Here we go. So Mr. Yarwood, tell us about this.
So the YMA Legacy Foundation is a foundation I created a couple years ago. We raise money to create scholarships for students who are, maybe their family is struggling financially and can't afford our training, but they want their kids to be there. And so we have a process by which we do a scholarship application process. They can apply to get, it depends on how much they need or want, but we can offer them scholarships to pay for tuition quarterly or annually. We have options of paying for tournaments, for gear, all kinds of different things. And that it all came about for me when I was a kid. I did karate for about a year, maybe 9 months, and I grew up with my mom was a single mom with 2 kids, working full time and going to school, and we didn't have the money for me to continue in karate, so I had to stop. And it was always something that I thought about a lot. And then when I got started back in karate again, I was like, my dream was coming to fruition on that in terms of getting back into karate. And then once I was in a position in my own school, my own business, I wanted to put together a scholarship that I could help other kids who were in my situation from when I was a kid. So to me, it was something that was always there in my brain thinking about, and it got to the point where I could do it. So it started with just basically I was offering through my business, I was offering subsidized training. And for me, it never became an issue, but for me it did internally. I felt like I was favoring some students over others because I'm sure there were more that could have used the subsidization. And I just decided that it wasn't working that way anymore. So I looked into starting a charity, and charity was fine, but the issue was when you're just a charity, there's a lot of things that you don't have access to as that a 501c3 nonprofit has. So I talked with a couple people, and we decided to go the nonprofit route. So we created the nonprofit YMA Legacy Foundation, and we've given, I think we've done 6 or 7 scholarships so far since we started in the last 3 years. So it's been cool to be able to see that, to see kids being able to be part of our training and our school that really want it or really need it, and we're actually giving them an option to be able to afford it. So that's kind of what the foundation is, and it's not limited to just that, but that's kind of where we're at right now. Our goal is to grow it a little bit more and be able to do other things with it.
And when you say a little bit more, what are the size component?
Well, it started with just our school, but I'd love to be able to offer it to other affiliate schools in our area that have students that are struggling as well, so we can expand it beyond just our doors and add it to we have 7 other schools in the Minnesota, Iowa area. So I'd love to be able to give them access to that as well at some point and just grow it out that way. And who knows where it goes from there, but that's kind of the local goal at this point. Because I know there's a lot of it out there, a lot of need out there. And I've seen the benefits of the kids who've received the scholarships too. Nobody knows that they're getting scholarships. They're just kids there training with everybody else, right? There's no, there's no like pointing it out that they're on scholarship and other kids aren't. It's just, it is what it is, and it's nice to see that we can make a difference in kids' lives and families' lives beyond even just the taekwondo part.
And I think one of the things that's fun about that is to know that what the school system is taking out of the curriculum and no longer providing for the students, that there is a place where you can get that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. We've had a lot of success.
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Yarwood. Appreciate this time. Appreciate the opportunity. Look forward to next week.
Yes, sir.
And for those of you listening,